So kindly start the invocation prayers and start. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhu, I'm doing the Sanskrit, yeah?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So do you want me to do Om Gyana as well?
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times, and then can start the Sanskrit, and Saranya Mataji will follow the translations.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ragi karma phala prepsur lupto him satmako suchihi harsa shokanvita karta rajasa parikirtitaha.
The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion.
Ayuktaha prakrita stabdaha shatoho neshkritriko alasaha visadi dirgaha shutricha kartatamasa uchyate.
The worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance.
Buddher bhedam tritreshchaiva gunatrastrividham shrinu prochamanam asheshenaha Vrithakvena dhananjaya.
O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination, according to the 3 modes of material nature.
Pavrittim na nivrittim cha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha yaveti buddhihi sa partha satviki.
O son of Partha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness.
Yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyam cha karyam eva cha ayathatva prajananti buddhihi sa partha rajasi.
O son of Partha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between actions that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion.
Adharmam dharmamiti yaha manyate tamasafrita sarvarthan viparitam cha buddhihi sa partha tamasi.
That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance.
Dhrityaya dharayate mana pranendriyakriyah yogen navyabhicharinya dhriti sa partha satvika.
O son of Partha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and sense in determination, is in the mode of goodness.
यया तु धर्म कर्मार्थं धृत्या धार्यते अर्जुन प्रसंगेन फलान् काङ्क्षी धृति सा पार्थ राजसी.
But that determination by which one holds fast to fruiting results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is in the nature of passion, O Arjuna.
यया स्वाप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृति सा पार्थ तामसी.
And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such an intelligent determination, O son of Partha, is in the mode of darkness.
सुखं त्वविदिनं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भारतर्षभा अभयासद्रुमा ते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति तत्
O,
यत् oh okay
o
yat
best of the
sorry yeah
O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned souls enjoy, and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress.
यत्तद् अग्रे विषम् इव परिणामे अमृतोपमं तत् सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्.
That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness.
विषयेन्द्रियसंयोगात् यत्तद् अग्रे अमृतोपमं परिणामे विषम् एव तत् सुखं राजसंस्मृतम्.
That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their object, and which appears like nectar at the first but poison at the end, is said to be said to be of the nature of passion.
यद् अग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मना निद्रालस्य प्रमादोतं तत्तामसम् उदाहृतम्.
And that happiness which is blind to self realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be in the nature of ignorance.
न तदस्ति पृथ्वीं वा दिवि द्वेषु वा पुनः सत्त्वं प्रकृतिर्मुक्तं यत् एभिर्स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणः.
There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary system which is freed from these three modes born of material nature.
ब्रह्मणा क्षत्रिया विशां शूद्राणां च प्ररन्तपा कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभेवर्तने.
Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own nature in accordance with the material modes, O chastiser of the enemy.
सामोदामस्तपः शौचं शान्तिः अर्जवमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञानम् आस्तिक्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजम्.
Peacefulness, self control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work.
शौर्यं तेजो धृतिर्दक्षं युद्धे चापि अपलायनं दानम् ईश्वरभावश्च क्षत्रं कर्णस्वभावजम्.
Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas.
ऋषि गोरक्ष्य वाणिज्ञं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजं परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रशापि स्वभावजम्.
Farming, cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, and for the Shudras, there are labor and service to others.
सेवे सेवे कर्माणि अभिरातः संसिद्धिं लाभते नरः स्वकामनिरता सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तच्चिनु.
By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now, please hear from me how this can be done.
यतः प्रवृत्ति भूतानां येन सर्व इदं ततं स्वकर्माणं अभयारेयः सिद्धिं विन्दति मानवः.
By worship of the Lord, who is source of all being and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work.
श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः पारधर्मात् स्वानुशिष्टात् स्वभावनियतं कर्म पूर्वं नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्.
It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions.
सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय स्वदोषम् अपि नात्यजेत् सर्वरं हि दोषेणः दुर्मेनाग्निः इवावृतः.
Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kundi, even if such work is full of fault.
असक्त बुद्धि सर्वत्र जितात्मा विगता स्पृहः नैष्कर्म्या सिद्धिं परमां संन्यासेनाधिगच्छति.
One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain, by practice of renunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction.
सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्राह्मः तथाप्नोति निबोध मे समस्तेनैव कौन्तेयः निष्ठः ज्ञानस्य या परा.
O son of Kundi, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize.
बुद्ध्या विशुद्धया युक्तो धृत्यात्मनां नियाम्य च शब्दादीन् विषयान् त्याक्त्वा रागद्वेषो व्युदास्य च विविक्ता सेवी लाभ आस्तिः यथा वाक्कयमानसा ध्यानयोगपरो नित्यं वैराग्यं समुपाश्रितः अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं परिग्रहं विमुच्य निर्ममा शान्तो ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते.
Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the object of sense gratification, being freed from the attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his mind, body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance, and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully recited in Sanskrit and English. So perfect. Okay, so thank you so much. Om Tat Satyati Srimad Bhagavadgita Upanishad Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastri Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Moksha Sannyasa Yogo Nama Ashtadasajjayah. Okay, so If you're all happy, we shall enter into next part of our program, the japa. Okay, so can I request any dear devotees, if anyone wanted to do Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya 3 times, and then we shall start our japa.
Prabhu, can I do it, please?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण everyone. So if dear devotees, if anyone has not yet completed, please kindly complete the chanting behind. So meanwhile we shall enter into next part of our program. It is the kirtan. And also kindly remember, and when we are chanting, we have to chant loudly, so we hear properly by ourselves, and also other people also able to hear it. Then only we will derive more benefit out of it. So that is the beauty of chanting loudly. Okay, so if you are all happy, we shall enter into the next part of our program. It is the beautiful kirtan by Hemlata Sandhyal Mata. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So I just wanted to know if someone can repeat with me.
You want the response? Yes, Mataji. Any voluntary devotees to respond to Hemlata Mataji? Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Jai Kunj Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jai Kunj Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari
Jaya Gopi Jan Vallabha
Jaya Gopi Vallabha
Jaya Gopi Jan Vallabha
Jaya Gopi Vallabha
Jaya Gopi Jan Vallabha
Jaya Gopi Vallabha
Girivardhari
Jaya Girivardhari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jai Kunj Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Yashodhanandana Vrij Janaran
Yasodhananda Braj Jana Ranjana
Yashodhanandana Vrij Janaran
Yasodhananda Braj Jana Ranjana
Yashodhanandana Vrij Janaranjana
Yasodhanandana Braj Jana Ranjana
Jamuna Tiravanchari
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
जमुना तीरा वनचारी,
जमुना तीरा वनचारी,
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी,
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gokul Nand Radha Gokul Nand Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Gokulanand Radha Gokulanand Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Gokulanand Radha Gokulanand Shri Radhe Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman 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 जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधा माधव श्री राधे।
जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधा माधव श्री राधे।
जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा।
जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा।
जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय।
जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय।
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद।
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद।
जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव।
जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव।
हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू माता जी।
Hare
थैंक यू वेरी
Krishna.
मच
It
माता
was
जी।
very nice, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautiful and ecstatic kirtan. Different melodies. So nice. Okay. So thank you so much. And both of you have sung very nicely. So next part of our program is Mangalacharan prayers by Meenakshi Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, if you are ready, kindly start.
Om Agnanam Timirandrasya Jnanam Jam Salakaya Chakshuram Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhestam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayanam Dadati Sarvapadatmitam. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदा कमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं साग्रतं सहगणा रघुनाथं इतं तमः जीवं साधवतं सवधुतं परिजन सहितं कृष्णचैतन्यं देवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदं सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखा अमृतं च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचा गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणम हरि प्रिया। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु इव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully done. Mangalacharan prayers. Okay, so can I request any dear devotees to do volunteers for Premadvani prayers? I shall share the screen. Anyone would like to do?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, shall I do?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Jaya Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupadaya Paramhamsa Parigravrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupadaya Paramhamsa Parigravrajacharya Ashtotara Shastra Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Ananta Koti Sharva Vrinda ki
Jai.
Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Jai.
Acharya Haridas Thakur ki
Jai.
Jai.
Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की
Jai.
श्री राधा कृष्णा गोपा गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की
Jai.
वृंदावन धाम की
Jai.
मथुरा धाम की
Jai.
नवद्वीप धाम की
Jai.
Jai.
नाथपुरी धाम की
Jai.
Jai.
गंगा मैया की
Jai.
गंगा मैया की
Jai.
तुलसी देवी की
Jai.
भक्ति देवी की
Jai.
कीर्तन यज्ञ की
Jai.
बृहद मृदंग की सोमवेत भक्त वृंद की
Jai.
गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully done, Premadvani prayers. Okay, so that is now our part is Srimad Bhagavadgita. Hare Krishna, Vipina Vihari Prabhuji. Then Pranam. It is nice to see you here. And thank you so much for kindly accepting to pour the nectar on our Sangha. So now, so all this session is for you. So please take over the session. And thank you so much, all the dear devotees. So kindly follow the instructions by Vipina Vihari Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much for coming together and attending this katha on Jnana Yajna on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Hope everyone is doing well and having a good association with devotees and progressing nicely in their spiritual life. So we will resume again. A couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we were discussing on chapter 18, verse 42 of Bhagavadgita. So we will be resuming on that particular verse, and then we will continue from that on. So let's share the screen, and then we can all start together. So if you remember, some of you were here last week, previous week. If you were around, you were in the session. You'll probably remember that we were talking of the different modes which Krishna brings about in the chapter 18, talking about the mode of renunciation, intelligence, work, and all this. Krishna talks about this. And Krishna also talks about the modes which affect, the living entities also. And then he describes the modes of sattva gun, rajogun, and tamogun, which mean mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, which reflects on the qualities of living entities, human beings, referring to the human beings. So, and then he talks about the four varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and he says that they are distinguished by their qualities born of their own nature in accordance to the material modes. So I mentioned that last week, last time, and I'm going to repeat this again, that this subject matter of the modes, the gunas, is huge, extensive, and it's this subject matter, like you have karma, like karma, action and reaction, modes, reincarnation. These topics you will not get in any other culture or religion. These topics is only talked and discussed in Sanatana Dharma. You will not get any of these like karma, action and reaction, and reincarnation, punarjanma, and all this. You will not get in any other culture or religion. And the gunas, the modes, sattvas, rajas, and tamas, you will not get in any religion. This is all embedded in our Sanatana Dharma, and they are the backbone and the foundation of how Sanatana Dharma function. And one of the dharma is the Varnashrama Dharma, and the Varnashrama Dharma is governed by these modes, sattvas, rajas, and tamas, mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Particularly talking about the varna, which are the Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Shudra, and the ashrama are the Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. We all know about this. The reason why these gunas were brought into place is because there need to be some order in society. For a civilized society to function, the gunas of different individuals needs to be organized and classified, and they need to actually work according to those gunas, to those qualities. This is what Varnashrama Dharma was considered to be the, one of the best organization in how society needs to function. And of course, these were predominant in Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga. But unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, it has pretty much disappeared. It's not here anymore. Even though there's Brahmana, there's Kshatriya, there's Vaishya, there's Shudra, they are their Shakti is not the same as it was before. All the Shakti of the Brahmana has actually dwindled. The Kshatriya are not as powerful as they were before. The Vaishya are there, but they are not as they used to be in the previous yugas. Pretty much everyone are Shudras. That's why the scriptures say, there's two statements which the scriptures say, Kali Kale Shudra Sambhava, which means in Kali Yuga, all the living entities are pretty much Shudras. And there's another statement which says, Janmana Jayate Shudra. When one is born in Kali Yuga, by default, that person is a Shudra. So being Shudra is not a problem. We will discuss that afterwards. But what I was trying to say is that because this Varnashrama society has actually deteriorated to such an extent that Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas are pretty much non-existent. You know, Vaishyas are there, Shudras are the population. These are the one running the whole show nowadays. But in the Vedic times, this Varnashrama dharma was the society. This is how Vedic society was running. For example, in the times of Lord Rama, you know, the Brahmanas, the cows, the elderlies, the children were given protection. And all the living entities were able to come and speak to Lord Rama about the problem. And Lord Rama would actually solve the problem because at that time, you know, the Vedic society, the Varnashrama dharma was predominant. There's a story about a dog who approached Lord Rama for help. And Lord Rama actually solved his problem. And the dog has an issue with the with the Brahmana. And the Brahmana was actually punished because the dog had a problem. Actually, the Brahmana actually took a stick and wanted to chase away the dog and actually hit the dog. And the dog went to Lord Rama and complained. And the Brahmana asked the dog, what do you want this Brahmana? How do you want me to punish this Brahmana? And the dog says, you know, to be able to understand the pain I have gone, you have to make him a dog in his next life. So, and that was acted on. And the Brahmana became a dog. But what I'm trying to say is that this is how the extent Varnashrama dharma was actually predominant. But okay, Lord Rama is not here. Rama Raja will not be possible. But the template of Varnashrama dharma is always be there because that was, as I mentioned earlier, that was part of Sanatana dharma. And Sanatana dharma means eternal religion. And Varnashrama dharma will come back. But that will depend on how the effort we are putting. And that's why Prabhupada said, I have completed 50% of my job or my work. Now the 50% is for you to finish. And that 50% was to establish the Varnashrama dharma. Now, so what I was trying to say is that Vedic society was actually organized based on gunas, on the qualities. And the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra were governed by the qualities. This is what Krishna is saying in verse 41. We've already done that, so I'm going to move to the next one. And then Krishna talks about the Brahmana, peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmana works. So we talked about this last week quite extensively, and we went into each and every qualities of the Brahmana. And so these, it is, you cannot be a Brahmana without these qualities. According to the Shastra,
you cannot be a Brahmana without these qualities. If you're a Brahmana, you need to have these qualities, because Brahmana is a very esteemed position, is a very pure position, and is a very a highest position, because they are considered to be the head, isn't it? The head of the Varnashrama, you know. So if someone has got his leg chopped off, they can still survive. If someone has got both arms chopped off, you know, they can still survive. But if someone has got their head chopped off, the whole body is dead. So the Brahmana is actually considered to be the head, to be the brain, to be the guiding force of society. So that's why, and of course, the stomach and all that also considered to be important, because it represents the Vaishyas. They give food. But if you want to kill someone, okay, I'm just saying it as an example. Of course, you don't want to kill anyone, but if someone want to have they want to a two person are fighting. If you want someone to be neutralized, to be killed, even if you shoot that person in the stomach, they will still survive. If you shot them in the arms or leg, they will still survive. But if you shoot them in the head, that's it, finished. That's why they call it a headshot, isn't it? In the warfare, a headshot is fatal if you're destroying the whole body. So that's why the Brahmana were considered to be very, very important, the most important part in society, because they held the knowledge. They were able to guide the rest of the body, the rest of the society, which means the Vaishyas, the Shudras, and the Kshatriya. And they were all going to have guidance to the Brahmanas, and they were, they were the one who run the whole place. So Brahmana are considered to be very, very important, and Brahmana doesn't only mean to do deity worship. Brahmana doesn't mean deity worship only. Deity worship is part of their activities, religiousness, but they have to do more. The work of the Brahmana, Shastra says, yajan, to do yagyas and to get others to do yagya. Patan, which means to read, swadhyaya, read, and then make others to read, teach others, and then dan and patigra. So one has to give, Brahmana needs to give dan, donation, and they also have to receive dakshina. These are the activities of the Brahmana also. So Brahmana doesn't only mean deity worship. Brahmana needs to carry these qualities and needs to do all this work, because they're head of society. I mentioned that last week. In the Bhagavatam, Krishna says, I worship the Brahmanas, because they're such important component of society. So anyway, we talked about it quite a lot last week. So the next one, which Krishna says, which was describing the quality, which is mostly rajas and satagun. So the Brahmana are considered to have mostly satagun. The Kshatriya now, Krishna talks about the Kshatriya, which we discussed last week. They are considered to have more of rajagun, and satagun also. So the qualities Krishna mentioned is heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. So this is this is the qualities of the Kshatriyas. So if someone has got these qualities, they are considered to be a Kshatriya. Now, I think we stopped here last week. So the next verse, if someone would like to actually read this verse, please. The Sanskrit and the English as well. Anyone would like to read, please? Any volunteers?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I'll read, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Hare
Hamleta Mataji, is that you?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. 44. कृषि गो रक्ष वाणिज्यम वैश्व कर्म स्वभावजम परिचर्या आत्मकम कर्म शूद्रस्य अपि स्वभावजम. Translation, you want me to read, Prabhu?
Yes, please, Mataji.
Farming, cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, Vaishyas, and for the Shudras, there are labor and service to others. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. I was trying to. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Let me just. Is that better now? Is it bigger? Hopefully helps. Okay. Yes. So now Krishna is talking about the group in society who has more of Rajas and Tamogun. So Rajogun more and Tamogun as well. Okay. So Rajogun, as we have been described before in the Bhagavad Gita, Rajogun is mostly activities, work, trying to fulfill desires, trying to acquire more wealth, more, going for sense gratification, try to do work, more work. And also Tamogun. Tamogun is, Krishna describes, is more of being slow, sleepy, laziness, lethargy, which means, or not willing, not motivated to do things, and not inclined to learn the Shastras, not in line in religiosity. So they haven't got the brain. So here Krishna is talking about two varnas, which is the Vaishya. The qualities of the Vaishya is the one who likes to do farming, one who likes to engage in cow protection, in milk business, ghee, yogurt, and all this, and to do banking and trades and mercantile type of work. So which means buying and selling and try to do business. These are the work for the Vaishyas. So those who are inclined to do this type of work are Vaishyas. And the Shudras, Shudrasyapi Swabhavajam, Paricharyatmakam Karma Shudrasyapi Swabhavajam. So now the Shudra are basically those who are laborers, and those essentially who are actually the servant of the Brahmanas, Vaishyas, and the Kshatriyas. So Shudras are those who serve the rest of the society. They serve the Brahmanas, they serve the Kshatriyas, and they serve the Shudras, the Vaishyas. So these are the qualities. Now I mentioned before that in our current society, most of us are actually Shudras. Janmana jayate Shudra, Kali Kale Shudra Sambhava. Shastra says that. So whoever is born in Kali Yuga, they are automatically Shudra. And in Kali Yuga, most of the people are actually Shudras. Now the reason is because in the Varnashrama system, if somebody is born, they go for the Gurukul, they go and study under the guidance of the Guru. And then while they are in the Gurukul system, their qualities will manifest. And then the Guru will direct them, okay, you are good to be Vaishyas, which is you can do farming and agriculture and business. And you are, you're more inclined towards being a Kshatriya, so you should go and learn warfare and be a administrator and leadership and all that. And a section of the students will be more inclined towards reading and learning and teaching and more towards religiousness. So the guru will advise them to go and learn the shastras and be brahmanas in their future. But there's some of them who doesn't fit into all these categories, and the guru will advise them, you know, okay, you be a laborer or you be a servant to the others. Now this is the Vedic system. Yeah, this is the original traditional type of Vedic system. And for someone to be a brahmana and for someone to be you know, a kshatriya, one has to go through the sanskar also. The Dashavidha sanskar is called, the 10 purifying process. So Garbhadhana sanskar, uh, uh, and then Janma sanskar, and then you have got Upanenan sanskar, and then you have got the how do you call it, Vivaha sanskar, and then when you start schooling and you get into marriage, and then you work and all that, and then finally you've got the Antim sanskar, which means the death. So those go for this Vedic system. They're able to do this purificatory sanskar through the leadership of the guru, and they're able to become brahmana. But those who doesn't go for this sanskar process, you know, they become shudras or vaishyas. So we are born in Kali Yuga. That's what the Shastra says. We are born as shudras, and we cannot become brahmanas because we haven't gone through this system. So that's why we are shudras. Essentially, we are shudras. When we were born, nobody has been doing this sanskar, and we haven't gone through this medium of Gurukul. You have to do this sanskar, and you have to. So the guru will actually tell you, you know, these are the qualities, and then you go for this Dashavidha sanskar for the Gurukul system, and then you become a brahmana. But if you haven't got those qualities to become a brahmana, uh, or you haven't been under the guidance of a guru, nobody will be able to advise you where you have to go. And we haven't been able to do this sanskar at the same time. So that's why, because we haven't gone through the purificatory process, we are all by default shudras. So we're all shudras. So the shudras, as I say, they are mostly the servant of the rest of the society. And this is how the Shudras, Vaishyas, Kshatriya, Brahmana, very organized scientific way of division in society, where this Varnashrama system was actually working perfectly, like clockwork, we say, clockwork, without any interruption. Everyone knew their job, and everyone knew what they have to do, and everyone were doing their task perfectly. Now, with the lack of this Vedika system and lack of this sanskara system, and not being under the guidance of a guru, anyone and everyone have been taking the position of business, of leaders, of brahmanas, and all that. So all these, without any proper quality, people are functioning as a brahmana. Without the quality required for kshatriya, they are engaged in warfare. They're becoming members of the army, and then without any proper qualities of business, they just engage in business, and then they end up doing failure. They end up cheating people. They end up going bankrupt and all that. And then most of us, some of us are actually by their previous karma, they end up being laborers and workers and all this. Now, what I'm trying to say is that if there is no order in society, like it used to be in the Varnashrama system in the Vedic times, the whole world will be a topsy-turvy place. And this is essentially what we are seeing now. You've got unqualified people who are being leaders. You have got people who haven't got the required qualities of functioning as brahmanas. And you've got people who haven't got the qualities of doing mercantile or business or trade. They're engaging in business and they're meeting with failure. Now, in the Vedic times, these were the established template how society needs to work. What has happened is, there's a very interesting statement on this. Because the Brahmanas haven't been fulfilling their required responsibilities, they have deteriorated in their swabhava, which means in the way the nature are, and then the wrong person were taking the wrong position. They were not qualified to be Brahmanas, and they were head of society. So as I mentioned, the Vedic society, the Varnashrama system is like the head, the arms, the stomach, and the legs. So if the head is not sound, if the brain is not functioning well, this body will be guided to a ditch, which means they will be guided to where they will have to fail. So the Brahmanas were the head who were actually who degraded in their standard, and then as a domino effect, the rest of the society also degraded. So the Brahmana were not able to guide the society as it should be because of lack of qualities, and then the society degraded eventually to how we are seeing now. Now, there are some statements and some comments which people do based on these gunas and varnas. They talk about the caste system, and then they try to blame Varnashrama system of creating this caste system and creating this system where there is segregation and division in society, and when there are some section of society who are being downtrodden, who are being kept as untouchable, who are kept away from the mainstream society. They're considered the lower end of society. Some of them are considered to be the higher in society. They've got higher status in society. This has all started with the deterioration of the Brahmanas. So when the Brahmanas got it wrong, so the wrong person became the Brahmanas or the head of society, the guidance and the rest of the society became sick, became unwell, and this is what we are seeing now. And many people actually distort this verse from Bhagavad-gita about the Varnas. Actually, this verse, I should tell you this verse here, verse 41, right, this verse 41, I don't know, some of you are from India. I've heard it from someone from India, from a reliable person who I considered to be like my guru. This verse was taken to court in India. I don't know if you're aware of this. This verse was taken to court. Krishna was taken to court because of this verse, because this has actually caused problem in the Indian society, where there was this caste system was actually imposed, and then things changed, and then many people didn't agree with that verse, didn't agree with all what Krishna is saying of all these different qualities, and this was taken to court. And there had to be some pundits and vidwan had to present evidence in court from other scriptures to substantiate that whatever Krishna has said here is not something which has been just created. It is also in different scriptures. But this is how bad it was. How these people distorted the meaning of Krishna's words and gave it a different meaning and texture and conclusion. That Krishna is a warmonger because he initiated the Mahabharata war, and Krishna is also somebody who's dividing the society. But this is, if people do not understand the essence of what Krishna is saying, the meaning behind this, that this is not Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are not, especially the Brahmana, are not by birth, but that qualities. What has happened in India or everywhere is people claim themselves to be Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya by birth. So if my father was a judge I'm automatically a judge. This is what the reasoning is. But that's foolishness, isn't it? But what the scripture says is anyone can elevate themselves to a status of a Brahmana. Even a Shudra, can be elevated to the status of a Brahmana by quality, if they have the quality, not automatically by default, by birth. But what has happened in India or everywhere in the world is that people have got a misdirection of this varnashrama system, of this varna and ashrama system. They have utilized it for their own benefit, and they are nobody who has got somebody who is a parent who is a brahmana will never say I'm a shudra. They will say I'm a brahmana as well because of lack of knowledge. That no one will want to say I'm a laborer or I'm a servant of everyone. No one would want to say that because of the lack of knowledge, and no one wants to be a laborer or a servant for the other section of society. So they have been using this as 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 if they that they are born and automatically they are brahmana or kshatriya. They've been using this, misinterpreting the whole information from the Bhagavad-gita. As I mentioned, this was taken to court in India, and then Vidwans and Pandits had to bring evidence from different scripture in front of the judge to say, no, Krishna is not wrong. Krishna, what said is according to the qualities. And this is how the society used to work. Order in society, you have to have differentiation. For example, not everyone can become knowledgeable. I mean, when you go for the stream of schooling, there will be some of them who will be failing, some of them who will not be inclined for studies and work and progressing and going to higher studies. Not all of them. Some of them haven't got the capabilities. Some of them are not, are very, physically they're weak. They're not able to engage in warfare or fight or protect. Some of them haven't got the qualities to be leaders. They're mostly very, they stay in the background. They want to stay away. They don't want to be leaders. People need to have these qualities to be. And some people don't have the qualities to be businessmen, and they enter into this business endeavor and then finally they fail. So what Krishna has actually done is he has organized society. This is how society used to work before, but people have misinterpreted this. And this has come through the degradation of the Brahmanas. When the head was wrong, the rest of society actually, disintegrated. And this is what we are seeing now. This is what we are seeing now. So the next verse, which we talked about, is the qualities of the Vaishyas and of the Shudras. Now, Krishna says in the next verse, okay, anyone would like to read this, please? Anyone would like to read this, please? Any volunteers? Apart from Hemrata Mataji, I think you have already read. Okay, there's no...
I shall read.
You will read? Okay, that's fine. Go for it.
स्वे स्वे कर्माणि अभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः स्वकर्मनिरतः सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तच्छृणु.
Translation, Prabhu.
Translation: by following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes. So what we were talking earlier is that being a Brahmana and being a Shudra doesn't is not a problem. Being a Shudra is not a problem. People feel that they are actually in the lowest scale of society, like a Shudra, and they shouldn't be a Shudra. They can't be a Shudra. This is actually something very, low esteem. So they have to be a Brahmana. No, Krishna says no. Krishna says if your qualities and if your swabhava, your natural qualities, is to be a Vaishya or a Kshatriya or Brahmana, you do that work. If your qualities is to be a Shudra, you still do that work, because being a Brahmana or being a Shudra will not stop you from achieving perfection. When we are talking of perfection, which means samsiddhim, perfection, when we are talking of perfection is to obtain the bhakti of Krishna, to obtain moksha, to be self-realized, to achieve the highest level of realization. This is what Krishna is talking. Being a Shudra is not something demeaning, belittling. That's not the issue. Someone can be a Brahmana, that's fine. Someone can be a Shudra also, that's fine. If that person if that's his position, that's his qualities, he can also function in the Varnashrama system, because Varnashrama system has actually made provisions for everyone in society. Someone who's not knowledgeable, someone who's knowledgeable, someone who's good at business, someone who's good at leadership and management. Varnashrama system was such a scientific system that it made provision for everyone to integrate and work in a cohesion in society, so that everyone can actually achieve the perfection. That's why it's called Varna Ashrama. Ashrama means one which is actually connected to spiritual life. If it's not connected to spiritual life, this is not a society. Varnashrama. Yeah. So this is how Krishna will explain in the next verse how this is done. Okay. Anyone would like to volunteer, or I don't mind reading? Any volunteer?
I can try.
For this one, Ratan Prabhu.
Yes. Jata pravritti bhutanam hena sarvamidam tatam sakarmana tamabharcha siddhim bindati manava. By worship the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Right. Here, Krishna is saying, by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings, who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Essentially, if someone is a Brahmana, someone is a Kshatriya, someone is a Vaishya or Shudra, one can remain in his job, in whatever activities, whatever work he's doing. By doing his job, his work, if one connected with Krishna, if one connect whatever they are doing, whether it's a Shudra, doing laborer work, or being a servant, one can actually connect it with Krishna. How? By offering everything one is doing to Krishna, by connecting it with Krishna. Everything what one does, one do it for the pleasure of Krishna, one is able to attain perfection. Like here, Prabhupada explains, everyone should think that he's engaged in a particular type of occupation by Rishikesh, the master of the senses. And by the result of the work in which one is engaged, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, should be worshipped. So whether you are a Shudra or a Brahmana, one should worship Shri Krishna. If one thinks always in this way, in full Krishna consciousness, then by the grace of the Lord, he becomes fully aware of everything. That is the perfection of life. So by being always in Krishna consciousness, whichever position one is, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, or Kshatriya, if one always remain in Krishna consciousness, this is the perfection of life. The Lord says in Bhagavadgita, Tesham aham sambuddhata. The Supreme Lord himself takes charge of delivering such a devotee. That is the highest perfection of life. In whatever occupation one may be engaged, if he serves the Supreme Lord, he will achieve the highest perfection. So, in the Varnashrama system, whichever category one is in these four categories, one can always achieve perfection if one engages his activity for the pleasure of Krishna. Krishna said to Arjun, whatever you are doing, do it for my pleasure. In this way, you will achieve perfection. So being a Shudra or Vaishya is not something which is, demeaning or which is not good, like nowadays people think. Being a Shudra, you can always climb to the highest level and achieve self-realization and achieve Krishna consciousness, whichever status in the Varna system we are. And this is what Krishna is saying here. So we go to the next verse. Anyone would like to read this one, please? Anyone?
May I try?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Okay. Shriyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swa anusthitat swabhavo niyatam karma kurvan napnoti klebisham. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah.
Mm.
Now, again, referring to the Varnashrama system, which was so scientifically organized and which was working so perfectly in the Vedic times, Krishna is saying, if you have this quality of this particular Varna, you stick to your job. You stick to your job description. Let's put it that way. Do not try to do something which is not inherited in you in terms of quality, and try to achieve perfection, because you will not be able to achieve perfection in that. You have to do the job which you are good as. Now, this is how scientifically Varnashrama system was organized in the past. And if you make a contrast with what's happening nowadays, you can see that it's all a total chaos out there in society, because one who has got the quality of a Shudra is leading a nation. One who has got the quality of a Brahmana is actually being a servant of these Shudras. And one who has got the quality of a Vaishya is doing Kshatriya work. So it's all topsy-turvy, it's all total chaos out there, because this is how, when Varnashrama system is not present, this is how things goes. Total chaos. But Krishna has established this Varnashrama system so that there is some order in society. Now, you have to remember, this Varnashrama system has been so scientifically organized that those who are in this category of people, they do not encroach in others' job, in others' work. Everyone stick to their job. Because if you do not have peace of mind, if you don't have peace of mind, if you don't have this serenity in your life, when there will be so much disturbances in your inside and outside, which means inside means in your own mind and outside means in the society, practicing devotional service become a little bit difficult. Practicing Krishna consciousness become a little bit difficult, and eventually getting the desired result, which means bhakti or Krishna consciousness, or eventually moksha, become difficult. The Varnashrama system was established to actually, it's actually a pathway to get these results. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So Varnashrama system was geared in a way where you are able to practice dharma within the rules and regulation of the scriptures. You are able to engage in artha, which means economic development. because there is a section of the society, Vaishya, who will be responsible for that. And the dharma will be responsible by the brahmanas. And then there will be karma. Karma means, you engage in karma. Not only means lust, karma also means desires and work. So there will be a section of society who will be engaging in expanding, in doing more work, and engaging in activities within the jurisdiction of the scriptures. And eventually, when you get to this, you will eventually you do everything according to the Shastra, starting with having this Varnashrama template and then doing Dharma and Artha and then Kama. Eventually, that will take you to moksha. So this Varnashrama system was actually geared in such a way that it was easy for everyone to actually achieve the result in their spiritual life. But at the moment, we can see it is difficult to get this result, because the Varnashrama system is actually, our mind is disturbed because we are possibly in a work which doesn't suit us, we're not happy with it, and our mind is disturbed. And then by doing something which we're not meant to, which is everyone is doing, it is causing some problem in society. There's chaos in society. So the environment and the energy and everything which is going on in this world is not perfectly suited to make our spiritual life easy. It is not easy. But as opposed to the Varnashrama system, everything was elaborated in such a way by Krishna that spiritual life was very easy and seamless, and the result were achieved naturally. But here, at the moment, because we are disturbed in our mind, and we project this disturbance in society as well, when we are finding practicing spiritual life difficult, because the society is not geared for that at the moment. That's why I repeat again, Prabhupada wanted to establish this Varnashrama society, because this is how achieving the required result will be easier. Now, you might ask this question at this point, so what do we do? Do we drop everything? We don't do everything because it's not easier? I'm saying it's easier. It's not easier, but it's not impossible. The answer to this, it's not easy. Yes, I agree. But at the same time, it's not impossible as well. Why? Later on, we will find in the Bhagavad Gita what Krishna tells us when we are in that kind of position. When we get to that, we can talk about it. But what I'm talking about here now is one should not encroach in others' work, because that will cause disturbance to oneself, and eventually that will cause disturbance to the society as well. That's why Krishna has said here very clearly, it is better to engage in one's occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reaction. So if one, even though they are doing their duty imperfectly, it is not affected by sinful reaction, because this is their swadharma. This is the activity they are meant to do. Yeah, there is a analogy given in the scriptures, like someone is in a situation where they're doing their karma, but at the same time they're doing it imperfectly. It doesn't matter. What it says, there's an analogy given that if there is a worm which is born in poison, there is poison, but there is a worm which is born in it. Even there is a poison here, there's a living entity which was born. It didn't die. So the meaning to this analogy is that even though you're doing your work and it's imperfect, there's a good thing out of it always, all the time. Like the worm which is born in poison. I hope you're getting the message. It's very metaphorical, because Shastra is like this. But the example I'm giving, even in a bad situation, if you're doing your duty, prescribed duty according to one's nature, it's always a good thing, even though you're doing it imperfectly. And there was a question I think Radha Mataji asked last week, about the overlapping of one varna into the other. Now, deliberating on this, and also in the scriptures and all this, I'll give you an example, which is quite self-explanable. The Brahmanas are actually more influenced by the mode of Satogun. They're more influenced by the mode of Satogun. And there is a little bit of Tamogun and Rajogun also, but they're mostly influenced by Satogun, which means mode of goodness. The Kshatriya are mostly influenced by Rajogun with a little bit of Satogun and then Tamogun, but they're mostly influenced by Rajogun, right? And the Vaishyas are actually influenced by more of Rajogun and Tamogun, little bit of Satogun. And Shudras are mostly influenced by the Tamogun, little bit of Rajagun, and very little bit of Satogun. Now, this overlapping of work, for example, if a Kshatriya wants to act as a Brahman. Now, if someone, I'll give you an example which we may all relate to. If someone is, a Brahmana is meant to do worship, deity worship, yagyas and pujas and all that. So when you do this yagya and puja, first thing you have to be pure internally with your heart and externally also. And then you're able to repeat those mantras, and then the result will be as what you desire. This Brahmana, this Pandit, this whoever is practicing this yagya, has to be in this position because he has got this serenity, he has got this calmness, he has got this peacefulness, and he's inclined towards religiosity. That's why he's doing this yagya, because this is what he is fit into. If you get a Kshatriya and make him sit down and do yagya, the man will be thinking about, you know, I have to finish the yagya as soon as possible because I've got to go something, because he is actually governed by Rajas. Rajas is mode of passion, which means to do, to do, to do. They can't, the mind is to do more, to do, to acquire more, to do more. So the mind is not suitable to do this type of work. Now, if you take a Vaishya and make him sit and do a yagya, he'll be thinking about how can I make money by doing this yagya, because his mind is inclined about doing money. If you take a Shudra and put him and ask him to do a yagya, he doesn't know anything about the Vedic scriptures. He doesn't know about the mantras and all these rituals and all that. And at the same time, you know, they work because Shudras are considered to be laborers. You know, they have to have a degree of external purity also. So they are working with different type of, you know, different things where they may not be pure enough. For example, working with animals, working with, you know, as, you know, cleaning and all that, being cleaners. To be a Brahmana, it doesn't mean that you just know the mantras and everything and then you just repeat it there. You need to have a degree of purity internally and externally to be able to do all these Vedic practices and yagyas and all that, and to be a deity worship. You cannot put somebody who is externally not clean, like a cleaner, to be going and doing deity worship. Same, if somebody is a Brahmana and then you put him in a situation where he has to engage in activities which is unclean, it isn't appropriate for the Brahmana. If you take a Vaishya and put him in a situation where he has to actually go and fight a war, he will run away from the battle, because this is not for him. He will get scared. The first thing he will do, he will run away. And then if you take a Kshatriya, you put him in a Vaishya position, the man doesn't know how to do business. So he will fail. You know, he may be a leader, but he may not know how to do business. He may not know how to do agriculture and farming. So what the scripture is clear about is one should stick to their varna. If there is overlapping, because of the gunas which those individuals have, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, because of those gunas, it will not allow them to perform others' job perfectly. The gunas will not allow. You can experience that in your life yourself. there are some things you want to do, but you can't do because the material modes and the energy is so strong that it's holding you from doing it. Like, for example, if you want to read more, or if you want to engage in more deity worship, or if you want to, let's keep it to the basics. If you want to actually chant good rounds, but the mind is so disturbed and it's going everywhere, and you have lots of desires coming up when you're doing your chanting. We're talking about something basic, which we do every day. This is because the modes are holding you back. The modes are not allowing you to do this because we're not, okay, I'm talking about myself, you know, the mode of goodness is not there. The mode of goodness means serenity, peacefulness, calmness, enable sama and dhamma, which means controlling the mind and controlling the senses. If it's not there, you will not be able to chant. So if you take someone who is a Shudra and put him to do, you know, activities which is not meant for him, he will not be able to do it because it's against his modes. So the general rule is in society, in Varnashrama system, that one has to stick to their Varnas. That's the rule. Now, I'm going to open a can of worms now. There are situations where there has been different Varnas in our Vedic times doing different roles. But the rule, there's another rule there. The rule is one should never, if they have to practice a different role, not according to the Varna, if they have to practice a different role, they should not practice a role which is below the Dharma. What I'm trying to say is that a Brahmana should not degrade and go back to Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra if they have to do their Dharma, another Dharma. Prabhuji, you've raised your hand. Is there anything you wanted to say?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. With regards to the one, so now we are in the age of Kali, so education system is going in the wrong directions. How we can take this one into the society to establish this Kshatriyas and divide the community into a and Varnashrama?
Yeah, I'll come to that in a minute. Yeah,
that was my question as well, Prabhu. I was just thinking of asking the same question.
Yeah, this is a natural question. This is a natural question. But first we need to know what is a Varnashrama Dharma. What's the template? And then we'll think about how to implement the template. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, like, I'll finish that and then we'll stop here because I've already 20:52 now. One can go back, can do another dharma, but they should not be degrading oneself to the lower dharma, which means the Brahmana should not be doing Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra work. But a Kshatriya can do a Brahmana work, or a Vaishya can do a Kshatriya work or a Brahmana work. A Shudra can do a Vaishya, Kshatriya, or Brahmana work. But that is not the general rule. That is in exceptions. The general rule is you don't overlap. But in those exceptions, if required, you can do the dharma of others, but you have to do one which is above you. No, you don't go below. That's what the Shastra says. So we will stop here. And then we've got a question already. So now this is Varnashrama Dharma. As you can see, there is a lot to say about it. It's not just a simple thing that you just wipe out whatever's there and then just establish this Varnashrama Dharma system. It is not going to happen so easily. One of the reasons is because, like, the question is, how do we implement this? The first thing is, if we are like those who want to establish the Varnashrama system, if they are in a minority in this world, it will not be possible. The first thing is you have to become a majority in this world to be able to implement this. So the answer to this question is we have to preach and preach and preach get more and more and more and more devotees, so that the world is in such a state where this varnashrama system can be implemented, because everyone is in the same wavelength. Now, that's one answer. The other answer is that can be started incrementally. So there can be societies, like, for example, there are communities in our ISKCON movement, which have started this varnashrama system, which means there was some who were like communities which have they've built communities. I'll give you an example in a minute. Built communities, and then they've taken, devotees have taken diksha, and then they've under the guidance of the guru, and then they have become pujaris, and then some work the farm, and some actually work as laborer, and some do defending and leadership and administration and all that. Shivram Swami established this, tried to start this in Krishna Valley in Hungary. But from his own words, it's difficult. There is, you can look into it. There was a very long interview he had at the manor, how to implement the varnashrama system. And he did say it's difficult. It has to start somewhere, very small, incrementally, where it actually progresses. But the issue is the society is not formulated. The whole society, this world, is not formulated in a way to support that system. So even if you do this small community of varnashrama, you need to have some sort of support from the outside, non-devotees, government, and all that, and all this, to be able to progress and flourish. But that's not there. The world is in such a way where you are literally like forced to go outside and work. So the way where it can happen is that the more devotees happen in this world, the more devotees are present in this world, they will have an upper hand on systems and things where the varnashrama system can actually be supported and given that push. But if you're surrounded by non-devotees and karmis and shudras who doesn't know what they're doing, it is actually difficult. You can Google it and look for that debate or interview which happened. It happened at the manor a few years back, and Maharaj tried to establish this. Well, he did say it's difficult. There's lot of work required. Now, that's not the end. Even if varnashrama is not there, we have to progress and try to establish this. But what do we do now? What do we do? Krishna says later, I've mentioned that last week. Krishna says later, abandon all type of religion. Now, he's not saying abandon karma, jnana, yoga, or varnashrama dharma. He's not saying that. He's saying abandon all types of religion, like, for example, the rituals, the different yagyas, the different aspects, rituals aspect in the scriptures. Abandon that. Do not worry about this. If you can't perform your work, also, if you are in a situation where you're not able to perform your work properly, surrender to me. Do everything for me. Even you're not able to function in the varnashrama, he's not saying drop the varnashrama system. The acharyas are very clear on this. One should not drop the varnashrama system. One should still push for the varnashrama system. That's why Prabhupada, echoed the same thing. The acharyas say that. Our Vaishnava acharyas say that. Krishna is not saying drop the varnashrama system. What he's saying, if you're not able to practice the varnashrama system, surrender everything on me. Do everything. So this is what our answer is at the moment. We're not able to do varnashrama, but whatever we are doing, we do it for him, for his pleasure, and engage everything on me. That's why he said, Man mana bhakto mam yaji mam namaskaru. It says later in the Bhagavad Gita. So that's why when you explain these verses and then you stop in the middle, there's lots of confusion. But when you go further, Krishna actually gives the answer, because the same confusion which we are having, Arjuna had the same confusion. Remember, Arjuna is representing us. Arjuna had the same confusion. Okay, it's not written explicitly in the Bhagavad Gita, but if you read the commentaries of the Acharyas explains that Arjuna had this question. That's why Krishna is saying this now. So where we are now, we have to practice Bhakti Yoga, which means Krishna consciousness, whichever position we are, whichever work we are doing. Once we connect it to Krishna, this is the how do you say, the success. I can give you the example. Like, for example, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was a judge, he was a magistrate in the High Court, but what he did was, he was still connecting it with Krishna. Prabhupada writes in one of the verses, I don't know whether it's in this one, but in the following one, Prabhupada says again that one has to take responsibility of our own work, what we are doing, and mold our life in such a way that we are engaging in Krishna consciousness. So that's the main thing. If we're not able to practice Varna Ashrama, whatever we are, whichever position we are, we have to connect it with Krishna and engage in Krishna consciousness. I don't know, Amoga Prabhu or Mataji, if that answered your question.
Yes, Prabhu, for the time being, I mean, it's like a rhetorical. We know that this is a system we cannot escape. Like, according to the Shastra, the Shastra we are reading now, trying to learn now, it should have been started from 5 to 20, at the age of 5, and we finish by 25. So the ashramas are also, like, in this society is all muddled up. So, and then during this time, we should have got that skill according to our abilities to do the grihastha ashram and perform the other things, other services according to our thing. But it's not happening. So we do understand that in Kali Yuga, the society has been made in such a way that it's a bit dysfunctional, and that's why even if we are aware of it now and we want to give it to our children, even though, I mean, as you said, like, it's not it's doneable, it's not impossible, but then, like, the facilities, the logistic does not support. Like, so even if you want to send children to Gurukul, we know that that's the best education. We cannot do it because the logistics of work, job, other commitments, and so we have to accept it, this society, this way. Well, I had another question, like,
Sorry, Mataji, yeah, we do have to accept it, but at the same time, that's not to say that we can't practice Krishna consciousness or bhakti. So the idea is, that's why Krishna says further down in Bhagavad Gita that if you can't practice it, whatever you're doing, engage it for my pleasure. So that, and I will take care of the sin which occurs along the way. So that's not to say because Varnashrama is not there, one can't do it. No, Krishna is saying we can still do it, but whatever position we are, connect it with me, do it for me, do it for my pleasure. Do not worry, I will take care of that.
Okay,
so it's not all doom and gloom,
Yeah, okay, yeah. Thank you. I get that. Prabhu, I was going to ask, like, the system, the Varnashram system, it's according to is it like can only be followed only when the system is Vedic? Is it like that, all the Shastras? Because as you mentioned, being born in Kali Yuga, we all are Shudras, but still we have, like, even if it's like, though this material education is called avidya, but still, I mean, people have been good doctors, good fighters, like good teachers, professors, like, which according to, I don't know, I'm not able to explain, but I hope I can make understand.
For example, you're saying that if somebody is a good professor, good teacher, so he's got the quality of teaching, which is probably a Brahmana
quality, but in the age of Kali, we're still all Shudras. So it's over, the last shlok I read, like, it's overlapping, but it's still overlapping in the material world, and everybody has to do everything, like, in that way.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, that's the thing. We have to be careful here. Being a teacher doesn't necessarily qualify that person as a Brahmana, because the person may be a teacher, but he doesn't like it because he doesn't. That's not for him. That's not, it's not what makes him happy. It's against his nature. Hmm? He may be a good professor or a good teacher, yeah, from the eyes of the public or from the students, maybe a very good one, but is he what he wants to do? That's the thing. At the same time, being a teacher and being a good teacher, good professor, if the person feels that that's what he likes, that's what he feels good at, this is what his nature, this is his swabhava, huh? So that gives you an indication at the same time also that this person has got some Brahmanical tendencies, you know. So we can't completely rule it out. Who makes this decision is the guru. Whether one has got this quality or not is the guru. Like for example, somebody doesn't want to fight, for example, or somebody wants to fight, or somebody has got these qualities. The guru will make that decision. Who, if you are Kshatriya or Brahmana or Vaishya or Shudra, and again, overlapping in all these things, somebody who has got qualities of being a Brahmana is doing business. Somebody who has got the quality of a Kshatriya is being a laborer and things like that. Yeah, nowadays it develops, but that doesn't mean to say that you can't achieve success and self-realization and Krishna Bhakti. Does that answer your question, Mataji?
Partly, Prabhu. I don't know how to. I mean, what I meant is I understand everything you explained from the Gita perspective and spiritual perspective, but the world we are living in, as you said, some people are they want to be, though as I mean, if we take the society as born as Shudras, but some people have that knack for, say, teaching. I'm just taking an example, teaching, and they are really good teachers. So it's not like they have been imposed that, that comes as a natural tendency, the natural is it from the past life, is it from prarabdha,
Yeah.
or somebody like a fighter, from the very young age, if it's a family of suppose Air Force officers, then they would want to do it, or family of doctors, they would still go into that profession naturally, because and they like it. So of course, on some it is imposed, but most of them like it as well. So I mean, what I'm trying to explain understand is, if you're all born as Shudras, but the ashrams they have the knack for is different. So
Yeah, if you're born a Shudra, but with proper training, you can get the qualities. So it doesn't mean that if you're born a Shudra, that's it, you're stuck here. You're born a Shudra because you haven't got through those Vedic purificatory processes. But if you're born a Shudra, but if you display those type of qualities while you grow up, the Shastras say, when you grow up, the association you're having and coming from the past karma, if those qualities start to manifest, yeah, this is where you're going. You become a Brahmana, you become a teacher, you become a Kshatriya, Vaishya, or you remain a Shudra. Yeah, you can go through that way even if you're born a Shudra with proper training and with proper guidance, under the guidance of a guru, you can move from being a Shudra to a Brahmana or to a Kshatriya. That can happen. Does it have to be that if you're born a Shudra, you remain a Shudra for the whole life? No. I understand what you're saying. The person is born as a Shudra and then he's got qualities of being a teacher or a doctor or things like that. That makes him remain a Shudra. No, not necessarily, because if you have gone through the training provided, okay, I'm talking about spiritual training. I'm not talking of training to become a doctor or professor or whatever it is. I'm talking of through spiritual training, you can become a Brahmana. I don't know if you
yes, Prabhu, yes, yeah. Thank
does that
you.
answer the question?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, maybe I didn't catch your question properly, but no, being born a Shudra, you can through proper training and then you can actually progress and be what you are, become what you are. And also, it comes from the previous life. The quality will come from the previous life. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And at the same time, sorry, Mataji. Yeah, at the same time, when the Shastra says Janmana Jayate Shudra or Kali Kale Shuddha Sambhava, that's a general rule. That is a general rule. There's always, there's always exceptions to this. It's not like it's a rigid thing. There's 7 billion people who's in the planet. Everyone is a Shudra and we're a Shudra. No, that's a general rule, because what Krishna is saying, the majority will be Shudras. The majority will be, laborers and worker class. That's what it means. It doesn't necessarily mean that 7 billion people will be Shudras. No. The Shastra talks like that. It is called Parokshavada. Parokshavada means Parokshavada Mama Priya. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, not in Bhagavad Gita, I think in the Bhagavatam, he says, talking indirectly is very pleasing to me. So there you are.
Yeah,
So,
that makes more sense for you. Hare Krishna.
yeah, talking indirectly is very pleasing to me. Parokshavada Mama Priya. So, but to be able to understand this indirect preaching message of Krishna, one has to go to a guru and someone who knows the message to impart it to you. So yeah. So anyway, my point was not everyone is a Shudra. That's just a general statement. Sorry, there was another question, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Mataji, you want to go first or as you like?
Mataji.
Okay.
Prabhu was before me. It's okay.
Yeah, as you like. Just the discussion was going very nicely. Prabhuji, this is a 3 dialogue about the Varnashram. 3 dialogue is we have to very important to know, especially Arjuna and Krishna, what we are discussing. Also, other thing also relevant. Arjuna, Krishna, and Narad Muni and Dhruva Maharaj, and another dialogue is Manu and Kardam. These 3 example is 3 dialogues very important. First, I can come to Narad Muni and Dhruva Maharaj. When Dhruva Maharaj gave suggestion, advice, that is, you did something or just to tolerate whatever you got, your something, you pain on your heart, but just tolerate. And with a certain time, maybe some action is coming, maybe due to your past action, but you are getting the result, but tolerate this thing, and just certain time, in due course of time, you will get it will be overcome. And all the advice Narad Muni gave, and Dhruva mentioned, that is, you gave very nice instruction, but I am Kshatriya. I am mentally Kshatriya. I know that is you are giving the advice for Brahminical qualities. I am not that level. I cannot tolerate. I have to take action. I have to do some action. This is my action. So whatever you are giving is very nice, very authoritative, very great. But my mood is not that. I cannot do that action. First thing. Second, also I can repeat also Arjuna and Krishna. Arjuna was not deciding to fight, and Krishna raised what is your nature, that is, you are Kshatriya, you have to fight. That is, he gave all the instruction here. And third point, we are coming also Manu and Kardam. Manu also telling, you have to make as a society so that Kardam Manu was not deciding to have a family life, not like this. And Kardam Manu. Kardam Manu was not making as a family life, nothing else. So, and then Manu came to giving his advice. You have to do a family life. Otherwise, in the society, adharma will come. You have to give an example how to maintain a family life. So, whatever the point, other thing, we can come to also in Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, is whatever the Vishwarup, creation of Vishwarup. It was mentioning also, is we have to come also, Chaitanya Saritamrita. This is not the point whether we are Brahman or Kshatriya, whatever we are discussing now. So this main point is kiva vipro kiva shudra nahi kono jai Krishna tattvavitta shei guru hoy. That means we have to learn how to give instruction correctly, and not the instruction. We have to practice our that instruction so that we can surrender to Lord. That is the main point, is how to sharanagati, how to surrender to him, how to make Bhagavat Prem. That is the main objective of Varnashram. Whatever we are discussing, all this Varnashram, main point we have to come, how to service to Lord. So due to that, in Prabhupada also, just I can share one point is very important. Prabhupada mentioned, it was, you can see whatever Sanchita Mataji mentioned, and so it is clearly mentioned, third canto, chapter 21. Yes, 21, text number 55. Is very nicely Prabhupada giving very nice purport. It was mentioning about this, how to maintain our society. Brahman, Kshatriya, this is whatever the quality of people have, but we have to associate all other teamwork, so that main purpose we have to serve to Lord. Serve to Lord. If we are missing this point, then what is the value of Varnashram? So that is why, like you mentioned, in what is the Maharaj in Hungary, I forget. So he also practicing this thing, how to maintain Brahmana, Kshatriya. We have to maintain that. It's not conflict each other. That is, my position is not permanent. And main point is, we are temporary here. So that means we are only short time. We are practicing how to go back to Godhead. So this is our main point. So that is why we have to come to the point, how to connect to Lord. And it is not the upper or lower. That is not the point. And we have many examples. All the examples coming in Bhagavatam. So who are coming the low born, he can back to Godhead. Kshatriya, Shudra also, they can. Kshatriya, they can. Vaishya, they can go. And also Brahman also. Brahman, normally they are highly qualified, is mean they are practicing all these things. So everyone has chance to go back to Godhead. And even also also women, doesn't matter, wherever born and who is gender, doesn't matter. So main thing, we have to connect to Lord Krishna. And that is the very vital point in the Varnashram, is very important. Nowadays, Prabhupada always mentioning, Bhagavatam also giving mentioned this point. That is, now we are missing the Varnashram. That is why no peace, no peaceful condition. So if we can back to as a Varnashram dharma, people can work according to their nature, then we can, this society will be peaceful. This is our ultimate goal. Otherwise, we can make as a conflict. Who are high born or low born, or who are high education, this is not point. How to become happy, peaceful, and how to peaceful, to satisfy to Lord. That is our purpose. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for these examples. Very nice. Thank you. Mataji had the question.
You got time, Prabhu? Because I think that took up quite a bit of time. I just wondered if you got time. I'm not gonna...
okay. I'm fine. Amoga Prabhu, you okay with that?
So, yes, Prabhuji. So this is, well, final question. Yeah, from
it's not going to be lengthy. I just think it's good to know about Shastras, what it's saying is good, knowledge, and in the reality of the material world, I think the caste system's being thrown out of the window, really. So I think that through the lectures and the instructions that we've been given, and if we follow the Krishna conscious movement, it gives us a different message about how whatever caste you think you belong to, or you believe, you should adapt to whatever. It's not about that. It's about being surrendering and doing devotional service to the best possible level. So you can actually, the idea is to become humble. So whatever occupation you take up, it's even recommended, even if you're a pujari, you can clean, you can pick up the dirt from the floor, you can do cleaning, you can go even to clean the toilet. That would be the humblest and most you know, best occupation, because nobody else wants to do that kind of thing. So that's what I gather. And even some of the shastras, they tell you a lot of things. How do we apply it in reality, in Maya, in material world? This is what we got to think about. How do we do at the optimum level to our ability to practice in a as pure as we can? And purity comes, it takes a long way to get to purity. But however, what I'm trying to say is there's no caste, I don't think, practically. People used to call themselves Brahmin because they were born in a Brahmin. That's all gone out to the window nowadays. It's not real Brahmin, is it? So I just a statement I want to make. I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong. Even some of the shastras have been challenged in a way that I heard 2 lectures recently where same thing was mentioned about even Krishna goes back on his words. I don't know if I'm crossing the line here, but those kind of things, it makes you wonder, how do you put it all together and practice in a nice Krishna conscious way as much as possible in the material world.
Yeah, yes, Mataji. Yeah, your initial comment was valid, actually. That's what I was mentioning later.
Yeah, I'm sorry if you
you...
had said all these before. I just came in late, so I really
okay.
apologize. I don't want to cross the line.
What I said is that when you don't just to cut a long story short,
yeah,
we are currently on 1847. That's what I mentioned earlier. If you stop here with all what I have said, there will be confusion. You know, I said that there will be confusion. That's why it's important to know what next is coming, because the confusion we are having at the moment, Arjuna had the same confusion. And the answer to this is in the next few verses from the 1860 onwards. So what you've said essentially is what Krishna is saying. Whatever you do, whichever position you are, connected to me, and be Krishna conscious, and do it for my pleasure. Whether you're in Varnashrama or not, or you are Shudra or Brahmana, or whichever position you are, and whichever way you are, whichever work you're doing, just connect it to me. Because you're not able to do Varnashrama system, that's not a worry. Just connect it to me. So what you've said is okay, because you've come in the middle, but you know, if you stop at these verses and then you go, you will be confused, because the question will be here: how do I practice Varnashrama Dharma? What about, am I doing bhakti properly? I'm working X job. I'm doing this job. That's not what is it? Is it for me? Is it not for me? I'm doing it. Is it Krishna accepts it? Is that devotional service? Is it not devotional service? I've got this type of quality and I'm doing this type of work. What's happening? You know. So if you stop at 1847, it will be confusion. So that's why, if you see the whole message in its entirety, Krishna is coming to a point where he's saying, if you can't practice all this, whatever you do it for me, do it for my pleasure, whether you're Brahmana, Shudra, or Vaishya, or Kshatriya. So yes, but what I was doing so far is I was mentioning and emphasizing what Varnashrama is, how it was functioning, the importance of it in society, and how it used to happen in the past, and who was doing what it was happening, and the nitty-gritty with it. For example, who does what, whether there's overlapping of work, whether not. That's how Varnashrama was functioning by Krishna's standard. But what's happening now is totally different. And the answer to these questions come in the later verses. So yeah, it will bring
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you very much. That's really good. I wondered, because of timing, and I brought this up before, whether when we do ask questions, we have a plan, you know, have put it in a nutshell instead of, you know, because it takes a lot of time and you also need to move on. all of us have to go on and do things, and so I just wondered if that can be arranged. So if people have questions, to make it short and sharp and more,
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, for others can ask questions as well. Yeah, maybe that's something to consider. Just keep it concise and short.
Yeah,
and then we'll answer the question. Yeah, but sometimes I have to say that an answer in one line is not enough. Sometimes you have to explain quite a few things. Anyway.
Yeah, sometimes that's acceptable, but if it's like this, I'm sure lots of people would have liked to, make comments, ask questions, that kind of thing more. So we get, a chance for everybody's voice.
Yeah. Okay, maybe something to consider next time. Keep it short and concise, and then so that everybody can actually have the time.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji, for answering all the questions patiently. So do you have anything further, Prabhuji, to say?
I know. I had I said everything what I had to say. But again, I know it will create lots of question and confusion. What are we doing in all this? But as Krishna said, Ma Suchaha, do not fear. The answer to this question will come in the later verses. And I did mention earlier when I did a couple of weeks ago that all this is being taught because Varnashrama was very predominant when Krishna was talking. But at the same time, he will give an answer for us what we need to do. And I've already mentioned what Krishna says later on. So Bhagavadgita is interesting. You keep opening, and lots of message coming. That's why we need to keep reading and reading and reading to get the message eventually. That's what I wanted to say. Very good.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for kindly giving on all these instructions to us and enlightening us. Okay, so if you're happy, Prabhuji, so we shall move on to the next part of our program, Narsimha prayers.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Usha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, devote Dhanapram.
Yeah, if you're ready, so would you like to, you wanted someone to respond, Mataji, or you're happy on your own?
Oh, I don't mind, Prabhu, anybody can respond, yeah.
Okay, any volunteer devotees to respond to Usha Mataji's Narsimha prayers?
I can do it, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Prahlādalādadaini.
Prahlādalādadaini.
Hiranyakashipurvakshaha.
Hiranyakashipurvakshaha.
Shilatankanakalaye.
Shilatankanakalaye.
Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha.
Ito Narsimho Parato Narsimho.
Yato Yato Yamitato Narsimha.
Yato Yato Yamitato Narsimho.
Bahe Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha.
Bahir Narsimho Hridaye Narsimho.
Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapade.
Narsinghamadim Sharanam Prapade.
Tava Kara Kamalavarena अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तानुभृङ्गां केशवधृता नरहरिरूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
तव कर कमलावरेणताम् अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तानुभृङ्गां केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवदयिता नरहरिरूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव
जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव
निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल
जय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय गौर हरि बोल
श्री नृसिंहदेव भगवान की
जय
भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज की
Jai.
जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की
Ki Jai.
नित्य गौ प्रेमानंदे
Hari Hari Bol.
हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone.
थैंक यू प्रभु
Hare
इट वाज
Krishna.
वेरी नाइस क्लास हरे
Hari
कृष्णा
Bol.
हरि
So
बोल
can I request all the devotees, so kindly unmute and do 3 loud Hari Bols to Hari Prabhuji.
हरि
Hari
हरि
Bol.
बोल हरि
Hari
बोल
Bol. Hari Bol.
Prabhupada की
की
जय।
जय
Jai.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
It is so beautiful
हरे
and an
कृष्णा
excellent class to hear.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful class
थैंक
so
यू
far.
प्रभु
What
प्रभुपाद
diverse.
की
वेरी
प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai. Very nice class,
And
Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
जी
Prabhu, what's in store for tomorrow morning?
so for tomorrow morning, it is Srimad Bhagavatam, Atah Pumbit Vijayashrestha Varnashrami Vibhagashah. That one, and also I think one more verse as well. So we have done this one last week, but we did not discuss further. So I think today's class also would help us. So that is a very beautiful one. It is 13th verse, Mataji.
13th verse, chapter,
Chapter
canto.
2, Canto
Okay.
1, Chapter 2.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Thank you, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you. So,
Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Panchakalpatarubhyascha Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.